Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is Zach with Zach Attack Cards. And as promised in the previous video, this will be our Donruss opening video. So hopefully you guys watched the previous video, our card show pickups from the weekend. We picked up a box of 92 Donruss Series 2, and we're gonna go ripping for my guy, Cal Ripken, and see if we can get one of those 5,000 personally autographed cards. So, from what we know about this set, number one, it was severely overprinted, of course, as were most things in the early 90s. The other thing that we know about this set is the only things to really go chasing are the Donruss Elites and the Cal Ripken Jr. autos. So both of them are extremely difficult pulls. We don't know for certain how bad or what the odds are, but what we do know, ew, some nasty stuff in this box, man. Definitely got to get rid of that. But anyway, what we do know about this is the odds were extremely long. So the estimated odds and the widely, what's the term I'm looking for? Accepted odds are that the Ripkens are somewhere between 1 in 9,000 or so packs, and the Elites are 1 in about 7,000 packs. So we're only opening 36 today, which means we're unlikely to get either. But other than that, there's really no inserts. Of course, there's Diamond Kings because it's Donruss. There's really no big rookies to go looking for. That's kind of it. There you go. You want to be a member of the Donruss All-Star Club? You get free Donruss cards, membership kit. All you got to do is send a check for $5 and a 3x5 card with your name. Can't beat that now, can you? But in all seriousness, I think this is just going to be just a fun opening. Like I said, I'm going to try to get more of these, Series 1 and Series 2, and just try to have these videos periodically where we look for both the Elites and the Ripken. I guess we have a better chance at getting an Elite card. But other than that, you're going to see some names from yesteryear. Mark Langston, excellent pitcher there for the California Angels for a few years. But other than that, you got that kind of ugly Donruss 92 look to it, which, listen, it's better than like Fleer 91 with that super ugly yellow border. But other than that, I was thinking it could also be a lot of fun to just kind of go through and see the different guys that we remember. Well, there's Chris Sabo, one of the first guys I remember with the glasses, the goggles. Tony Gwynn, Mr. Hall of Famer there, one of the best hitters of all time. Maybe we'll separate out some of the Hall of Famers and stars. There's Dwight Doc Gooden, excellent player. Jeff Reed, got Jeff Hewson. There's the man Ozzy, the Wizard of Oz, Ozzy Smith. But we are going to try to go through these relatively quickly. I don't want to hold you for too long, but like I said, I think it makes for what could be a pretty fun, kind of series. It definitely won't be weekly. It'll, be less than that for sure. But just every so often, as I get my hands on some boxes. Ray Sanchez. Wonder if that's the guy who eventually ended up playing for the Mets, I think. Hensley Mullins. But it's also pretty interesting, too, to go back and see, like, most of the time these were all base. It's nothing like today where pretty much every pack comes with an insert and things like that. They still had checklist cards, which span several cards in a lot of cases, especially one like this where the set's like 800 cards. But just different. Here's another rated rookie. Just very different than from what it is today, where, we've come to almost expect a numbered card per blaster box, and this is, I guess you could refer to it as a hobby box. Chris Gwynn, I believe that was Tony's brother. Surprised it doesn't say it here. Oh, yep, brother of All-Star Tony Gwynn. Nowhere near as good as his brother, no offense. Darryl Strawberry, another nice name. But the other nice thing is I might go ahead and put together some sets. Scott Brocious, there's a young Scott Brocious. Eventually went on to play for the Yanks and win some World Series championships. But if something like this is something you're interested in doing yourself, definitely keep track of the set you're going after, because at least in this case, right, isn't really like a high gloss finish, so you don't really have to worry about bricking and paper loss. But you definitely have to worry about that with a lot of other sets from the early 90s, specifically ones like Stadium Club that came with those Kodachrome nonsense on it. There's the Goose and Nolan Ryan. Pair of Hall of Famers. But a few packs in here and haven't even sniffed a Diamond King. Bobby Bowe. This is a set I remember opening a fair amount of when I was younger, and definitely never pulled an Elite, and 1000% never pulled a Cal Ripken auto. But I think that would be so much fun. Julio Franco. I feel like that guy played for like 40 years. Had a super long career. Saying duplicate rated rookie already? Come on, man. And look at that. Colorado Rockies team card, I guess. BC7. So I guess it is an insert or something. I don't know. But 15 cards per pack too, which is, definitely more than we're getting nowadays with a lot of stuff. Ooh, we got our first Diamond King on the back of this guy. We're going to have to move these over. Danny Tartabull. Arthur Rhodes. Man, a lot of guys that I remember watching when I was younger. David Weathers. Certainly let me know your memories from back in the day for some of these players. I'd love to hear it if you were watching baseball in the early 90s, of course. Joe Carter. Not too long before leading his team to a title. Amaro, Bush, and our first Diamond King is Brett Butler, who might not be a name a lot of you remember, but dude had some excellent power. Played for the Dodgers. I want to say he also played for like the A's, maybe? Don't fully remember. Also nice and easy to open these packs. I like that. Much easier than some of the stuff nowadays. Greg Briley. King, Scott Erickson. Everybody thought he was going to be the next big thing for a while. Even played for my O's for a little while. There's Dwight Gooden again. Archie Corbin, rated rookie. Mike Greenwell. Also was a pretty popular rookie there from, I think he was in 87. Andy Nagel. Tom Glavine. Nice one. Darryl Strawberry again. But this was the other thing I remember as a kid. Like, you'd go to a store and you'd buy a pack or two. They might run you $1, a couple of dollars, something like that. I want to say this is one of the sets that was only cost you like $1. And you couldn't expect to get, even like a star. Like, you might get an entire pack of guys that you really don't know. A lot of, or commons, as we like to call them. There's another Joe Carter. Mo Sanford, rated rookie, not a name I remember. John Vanderwall, rated rookie. And Reggie Sanders, rated rookie. Now there's one I remember. I remember him playing with the Giants for a decent amount of time and not being too bad a player. But, oh, look at that look on that one. It's really raring back to fire it in there. Kevin Apier. Pretty interesting to see the amount of duplicates we're getting already. Gwen, that's at least a third Dwight Gooden we've got. Ozzie Smith. And we'll try to keep things economical, like I was saying. We don't want to, you know, spend too long doing this, so we'll try to move through the cards pretty quick. We got the Hawk, Andre Dawson. On the Cubs, Kim Batista, maybe. Again, not another rated rookie. As I said, there's really no rated rookies to chase in here. Some consider the Manny Ramirez rated rookie, which I believe is in this set. Sometimes I confuse Series 1 and Series 2 to be the best one. I believe he's in Series 2. But again, it all depends on who you talk to. What reference site you use, whether or not something's actually considered a rookie. Malakote, we got Pena, Merker, and Wohlers highlights card. Regular Tom Glavine. Seitzer, Kevin Mitchell, excellent player there for a few years. Don Mattingly. Donnie Baseball. And the other thing, if you're wondering if there's any value to these, there's really no value to anything outside of the elites and the Ripkens. Like I said, you know, the overprinting just killed it, which is something that very well could happen with what's happening today, especially with Topps just cranking them out, it seems. So something to keep an eye on. If you're a collector who's, you know, maybe looking to get some value here and there or something, it's certainly not going to be in base cards. Oh, there's Neon Deion Sanders. Nice one. Pendleton, Curtis Wilkerson, and then I guess we're going to flip them around. As happens sometimes, that the machines weren't, Eric Davis, nice one, weren't incredibly reliable back in the day, so sometimes you'd have packs just like this, half and half. And Kurt Schilling on the Astros. Yeah, we'll put him in the decent pile. You know, despite what you may think about the guy personally, he was a pretty darn talented pitcher. There's Will the Thrill, definitely one of my favorites back in the day. Omar Vizquel. Ryan Sandberg. Hopefully the man's hanging in there. I know he's two of the same card in the same pack. The Big Hurt, Frank Thomas. But yeah, I know. I believe Ryan Sandberg is going through another round of chemotherapy, or just really trying to battle off that cancer. So just wish him the best of luck. It's kind of interesting too, because I don't actually do the like TTM stuff, you know, sending cards through the mail to try and get autographs, but he's one of the guys that a lot of guys will submit to, and I think it's like, I don't know, 10 or 20 bucks for him to sign a card, something. It's really not bad. And, you know, he sends it back in like a month or so. Tino Martinez rated rookie. It's not bad. May or may not be actually considered a rookie, but, I mean, hey, it says rookie on it, so we'll pop it in there. And hey, Chuck Knobloch. But it's just funny because being a part of these big communities that do all of that, they constantly send things to Sandberg, and, you know, sometimes he'll send them back, and he'll only have signed like one card, you know, let's say, and they will have sent like, I don't know, 5 or 6, or so, you know, some people send crazy amounts, and people get all mad about how he didn't sign them all, and I'm like, you really got to give the guy a bit of a break, you know. He's going through a real rough health, you know, and I'm sure sending the stuff to him is good, and, you know, I'm sure he's using the money he's making for his health stuff, but some people get so upset about it, and I'm like, he's got bigger things to worry about, honestly. So there's a Hal Morris Diamond King. Not a name I remember too well. Or, I mean, I remember the name. I do not remember much about how he played or anything. Cormier, Fernandez, Hartley. I think the whole point of that story is just to say, I think we could all have a little bit of, just be nicer to each other, that's all. You know, have a little more decorum and understanding for everyone else. Royce Clayton, remember him for a while too, because that seems to be something that we just don't have much nowadays. Just a very, everybody's kind of out for themselves type of thing. And, just kind of sucks sometimes. But that's where I like, at least to the card shows and stuff that I go to, it does seem like there's more of a better sense of community and stuff like that. And I'm much more appreciative of that. Everybody's trying to find where they belong, per se, you know? So we're getting through these. As you can see, we have this stack left. So still a decent amount of packs to go. Oil Can Boyd. Forget what his actual first name was. It's got to be on the back. Dennis. Yep, Dennis. Rod Beck. Guy who always looked like he was 50. There's Bo Jackson. Bo knows baseball. Carlton Fisk. Still playing in the early 90s. Jose Canseco. On half of the Bash Brothers. Kurt Manwaring. That is one interesting. Must be a throwback day at the stadium. Oh my God, we hit one. Look at this. We're going to hit an elite in this box. That is unbelievable. What? I am stoked. It might not be the best name, but that is so darn cool. Jeff Bagwell. This is, he's got 91? 91 or 92 was his rookie year. Roger Clemens. Let's get to it, baby. Unbelievable. Look at that. Terry Pendleton Elite Series pulled. Woohoo! I didn't even have my stuff like right next to me because I assumed there really wouldn't be anything to sleeve up. But we nailed it. And I mean, all these have some amount of value to them. I mean, obviously Pendleton's value's gone down over the years. He was a much bigger star in the early 90s. But 32.69 of 10,000. And there's set of 18. So this is 16 of 18. Centering doesn't look too bad. That is super nice, man. Oh, what a hit. What an absolute hit. Let's just do that. Let's give him like center stage here, baby. What a hit. That is just unbelievable. I was looking up some odds and things like that, you know, trying to understand better if there, obviously there, like I said, there's official, wow, there are no official odds, so there's just kind of accepted odds. And I mean, there's some people that have opened cases and haven't pulled an elite, so that's, I'm gonna call that an absolute unequivocal definite win. Like, that's just insane. Like, we don't even have to come anywhere near the Cal Ripken auto, and I am a happy camper with this opening, man. Wow. That is so cool. But that's the kind of thing that I think I'm going to, do with this series. I'm trying to get more packs and more series where you can, have long odds at pulling something really cool and see what we can do. Maybe there's something else out there. Kirby Puckett. Maybe there's somebody else out there that we can pull something real neat of. Upper Deck had, Find the Nolan and stuff. I think there was Find the Reggie one year. There was Find the Mantle and Score from the early 90s, which had Difficult to pull mantle inserts and mantle autos. So this will be fun, man. I think this could be a very fun series. I think it's just one of those things that I'll have to accept that probably a better number, more times than not, there will be disappointment, and that's okay. Like I say, we get to open cards and have a conversation, you know, about baseball, my favorite sport. Go Plantier, look at that. What an interesting stance. Evan Mitchell, Huff. I'm really surprised we haven't pulled more Diamond Kings. They must be a more difficult pull too. 2 out of, I mean, we're easily more than 2/3 through the box now. Jim Leyritz with the Yankees a few years there. Tom Glavine again. Joe Strawberry again. But also just seeing the sheer amount of cards you get in a box. Like, look at the amount of cards you get in a box versus what you get nowadays. I mean, I know Donruss doesn't exist anymore, per se. It's all owned by Panini and stuff. But, I mean, just think of a hobby box of tops. I mean, you don't get even regular tops. I mean, let's not even consider Chrome. But, like, just regular tops, Series 1, Series 2. You don't get half as many cards as we're seeing here. Omar Vizquel again. Francisco Cabrera. And we do get another Diamond King, but shockingly, it is a duplicate of Hal Morris. Let's see if we can pull at least one more Diamond King out of these last... Oops, sorry for bumping the camera. Out of these last half a dozen or so packs. My goodness, I cannot believe that we hit an elite. That's just, I'm telling you, when I bought this box, I was like, it's going to be a pretty disappointing video. It's probably not going to, you know, have a whole lot to get excited about, you know, both for me making the video and you guys watching. But look at that. That's just more than I could ask for. At Henkin, Leonard. Got the Rockies again. Not much going on there. We're down to 5. Definitely going to be a slightly longer video, so for that I do apologize. Perhaps in time I'll learn how to keep them a bit shorter. Patrick Mahomes' father. I'm sure by now a lot of us know he played baseball. Another Neon Dion. Look at that nickname or middle name. Dion Lewin Sanders, maybe? Kirby Puckett. That was another thing that was pretty cool about these. They always put your middle name. So if you're curious what a guy's middle name is, and he's in Donruss 92, you will know it. Jeff Nelson, pretty good pitcher there for the Yanks, Mariners, etc. Bunch of teams. Ron Darling. Now up in the box announcing Met games. Skeeter Barnes. Steve Sachs was a guy that I collected when I was younger. I have no idea why. I think I just liked his name. Thought his name was cool or something. I have no idea. I remember going back looking through my childhood books and I'm like, man, I have a good amount of Steve Sachs. There's the man. Cal Ripken base card. 91 AL MVP and a Marlins insert. Look at that. Florida Marlins. Carlos Hernandez. Got Darling again. Sanchez again. Gonna get another Diamond King, which is nice. And it's a different one. It's Brian McRae. So 3 different Diamond Kings, 4 total. And last pack, and end up with a rated rookie, it looks like. Tom Glavine. Dion again for, I don't know, at least the 5th time. Kirby again. Oh, and it's Jeff Nelson. So that does it. Look at the stack of cards. Absolute stack of cards you got out of that box, plus what's in the sorter. And then this one here is the king, baby. The Elite Series Terry Pendleton. Might not be, you know, super stoked on the name, but I just absolutely love this pull, man. What an awesome pull. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. This was so much fun. Let me know if it's something you'd be interested in. I mean, I think it's something I'm going to do anyways, because it's just seems like a lot of fun to go back and try to pull some of these ridiculously hard to pull cards from the early 90s / late 80s, maybe some of them. But with that said, guys, let's wrap it up. I don't want to keep you here too long. I do appreciate each and every one of you dedicating a little bit of time to watching my content, so I want to respect your time. If you could head down below, click the subscribe button, click the like while you're there. We put out videos every Monday and Friday, and would love to have you along for the ride. And like I said, drop a comment. Let me know what you think of the series. Let me know what you think of the pull, man. The Elite Series pull in the comments down below. And one last thing I want to say is just thank you, guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for watching these videos, for commenting on these videos, for subscribing to, you know, just enjoying the content itself. You know, even if you don't do any of those things, it's a lot of fun for me to make these kinds of videos, and or make all my videos really, and to see other people enjoying them is really cool. Like really, like I'm not even sure, you know, what the proper term is, but let's just go with cool, because it's a really wonderful thing, and I appreciate each and every one of you. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, get you on out of here, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.